Hello everyone, this is Colleen Lemma, Starseed astrologer and spiritual messenger from sacredsoulempowerment.com, here to do your monthly intuitive reading for September 2021. For this month's monthly reading, we'll be using the Sirian Starseed Tarot by Patricia Corey and Alyssa Bartha, which is going to be for the main message for everyone. And your special message card this month, depending on your stone of choice, is going to be coming from the Star Temple Oracle cards by Susie Cherub. So, this is a new month. I can't believe we're into September already, right? So let's go ahead and take a look at first what your stones of choice are before we get into the energies for the month. The first stone of choice is this beautiful, although unusual, aragonite. I hope I'm saying that right. Aragonite, okay? The aragonite is a stone of truth. It helps with emotional and mental stability, helps with understanding, perception, acceptance, patience, which we all need, right? We're into Virgo season here. Tolerance, insight, and it's considered a stone of nurturing. Your second stone of choice for this month is a beautiful smoky quartz sphere. And the smoky quartz is a stone that can help to gently disperse fear, depression, negativity, or negative energies. It is very helpful in relieving stress and anxiety, helps to bring emotional calmness, and it promotes positive thoughts. And then our last stone of choice is this mahogany obsidian. Now, we often know obsidian, right, to be this black stone here, and this one here with the brown in it as well makes it the mahogany obsidian, which is a little bit more gentle than just the straight obsidian. And the mahogany obsidian helps to stimulate strength, creativity, provides protection. It's a very wonderful grounding stone, and really all three of these are very good grounding stones because of their brown, darker color, right? And this one also helps to support personal growth. So again, our stones of choice for the month, we'll hold them up once again for you. We have aragonite. I'm going to put them over here now and get them out of the way. We've got the smoky quartz sphere. And we'll put that over here now. And then we have the mahogany obsidian. Okay, so let's go ahead and start by talking about the energies for the month of September from a numerological perspective, okay? So we start out with the year 2021, and we've been talking about this each and every month, right? It adds up to a 5. So this is a year of change, redirection. There's a sense of chaos and instability here. It is an energy, the 5 numerologically speaking is an energy of liberation and freedom. So I feel like all year we have been sitting on the edge of our seats, desiring and looking for this energy of liberation and freedom. We've been feeling a little antsy, especially with what's going on in the state of the world with the collective, COVID, second year of, and, we're feeling like we're dealing with some karmic issues of freedom, right? So also, though, on a personal level, we may be going through certain personal circumstances and situations that is asking us to redirect our path in some way, or change things up, make a change, make some sort of movement. The 5 is about almost like static nervous energy, almost an anxious energy. So it can cause a little bit of anxiety and nervousness throughout the entire year. And again, the number 5 is about change and freedom. And I give you that background again, just reiterating what 2021 is all about, because the energy of September being in the 9th month of the year, if we add 9 plus 5, it gives us a 14. And the 14 is a karmic number, so we're going to talk about that in a minute. But if you take that and reduce it down to a single digit, the 1 plus the 4 and the number 14 equals a 5. So the September, this month of September is a well, actually it's a universal month. It's a 5 universal month within the 5 universal year. So this is telling us that this is the month in the year that is going to bring about possibly the most change, the most redirection, the most sit on the edge of our seats wanting to free ourselves or liberate ourselves. This could be from a situation, a circumstance. It could be from a mindset, a thought pattern, a belief system. It could be about old karma, some past life situation. But again, this is all about wanting to set ourselves free so that we can experience some sort of change. Now, talking about the karmic number 14 in numerology, that number 14 does deal with karmic issues of freedom from previous lifetimes. And since this is on a collective level, and we can again look at the state of the world and what's happening all around the planet, obviously there's other things going on, but COVID is the biggest and main thing, right? And then each country has their own interworkings and things that are happening as well. So I feel like, on a collective level, we're looking for freeing ourselves from oppression or freeing ourselves from what is holding us back to experience this liberation and this ability to just kind of fly free and be who we want to be and do what we want to do. And again, under this lockdown and the quarantines and the restrictions and everything else that's going on the planet, this again may be the month to where there's some sort of karmic turning point on some level going on. Again, this can also speak to your personal lives as well as on a collective level. Now, the 14th major arcana in the tarot is Temperance. And so what is Temperance about? Temperance is about a need to stay in moderation, a need to stay in balance, even utilizing a little bit of patience as we are moving into an energy of taking something and changing it into something else. It's about moving into a state of change, but through kind of patience. And again, through this state of staying balanced and moderation. What does that mean, moderation? That means don't go to extremes. So if we can stay balanced enough to not go into extremes emotionally or mentally, or even with our actions, this is the best course of action for this month of September. Because if we break down that 5 energy for the month of September, if we take the 1 and the 4, we break that down for a moment, right? 5 is all about change and liberation, redirection. But the 1 is saying that we have to own our own authority. We have to find our own sense of confidence, courage, independence, self-identity, because that's what the number 1 is about. But we have to use this idea of slow, patient movement, which is the number 4. The 4 can be a very challenging energy to move through. So there can be blocks, there can be delays, there can be restrictions. There can actually be some karmic challenges that we're moving through, feeling again blocked or held back somehow as we are pushing towards getting to that freedom and liberation. So the positive of the 4 is about restructuring our lives. And the other positive of the 4 is to make an organized plan and pay attention to the details in order to get to that 5 energy of freedom and liberation. So in the Sirian Starseed Tarot, which is the deck that I usually use for the monthly readings, the Temperance card is actually called Alchemy. So this is the 14th major arcana. This one has a different kind of symbology about it, doesn't it? Because if you look at this and you look at the word alchemy, what does alchemy mean? It means taking an energy, a substance, and transforming it into something different or something new. We're alchemizing something. It's like that old idea of turning lead into gold, right? We're alchemizing something. And here we have, I don't know what this is supposed to be, a planet, a sphere, a ball of energy, right? It's a deep dark red. So first of all, to me, it's relating to our root chakra, of our sense of stability, security, groundedness. And so many of us on the planet are dealing with those root chakra survival issues right now. But we can see the fire here underneath, the fire of transmutation or transformation. And this is part of the alchemizing process, to where we're taking one substance here and we're going to transform it or alchemize it into something new through patience, through diligence, through paying attention to details, through our confidence and courage and take charge ability. We're going to create the change and the liberation in our lives, the redirection in our lives that we wish to have. So let's go ahead and talk about the astrological significance aspects. I said that backwards. The astrological aspects of significance. Okay, so we're in Virgo season, right? Virgo is an earth sign. Virgo is a mutable sign. So there's 3 earth signs in the zodiac, and that would be Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn, but they all have different qualities. Taurus is what's called a fixed earth sign, which is more stubborn and focused in its energies. Skipping to Capricorn, Capricorn is known as a cardinal earth sign. It's more of an initiating kind of energy. That's what cardinal means. It's initiating. Virgo is a mutable earth sign. Okay, so again, earth is usually focused and grounded and practical, and it's all about logic and analyzing and staying on course. But Virgo being mutable means it's changeable. Mutable means changeable and kind of go with the flow, and it almost vacillates in a sense. So this is where we get that kind of 5 energy here this month, right? This idea of looking at all the options, and maybe we're vacillating back and forth between, should I do this or should I do that? What decision should I make? Mutable is changeable. But yet Virgo wants to be practical and do the right thing, make the right choice. But it wants to really kind of be analytical about it and be logical about it. And sometimes life isn't logical. Sometimes we can't analyze, to that extent to create a sense of logic about what it is that is in our highest and best interest. Sometimes we need to just go with the flow, trust and have faith, and allow our intuition or our higher selves, our angels and guides, spirit, to kind of move us in the direction that feels right to us. So as far as astrological aspects of significance, the first time period here is the 6th of September. And this is actually when we have a new moon in Virgo. And this is a very powerful new moon in Virgo. Of course, new moons are about new beginnings. But, it's more of the energies that are occurring on that day, right? There's Mars, the planet of energy and action, and it's in a positive connection to Pluto, the planet of transformation and power, and really kind of rising into kind of your truth. Mars is going to move forward and take an action, but it's in Virgo right now. So it might be small actions. This is about, Virgo is not a big grandiose kind of sign. Virgo is like, I'm going to take these little steps. It's all about the different parts of the whole, and I'm going to, utilize this next step to get towards my truth. And again, connecting with Pluto, it can be a very empowering thing on this day of the full moon, or new moon in Virgo. Also on that day, we have Venus connecting in a positive way to Jupiter, and Venus is in her home sign of Libra. So this is about relationships and harmony and equality. And Jupiter, the planet of expansion and growth, which makes things bigger, he's in Aquarius, which is also about freedom and, in a sense, equality on a collective level. So Venus right now is really looking for that sense of equality and fairness in her dealings with relationship matters on this day of the new moon. And then after the new moon, directly after the new moon, the sun in Virgo is connecting to Uranus. So you want to talk about freedom. Uranus is all about freedom and liberation. That's what Uranus rules. And so here on the day of the new moon, a time of new beginnings or initiating something new, which again, Virgo might be initiating a plan, initiating the next step, paying attention to those details. But Uranus brings in this great awakening, this flash of insight, this aha moment, this revelation, and this idea of wanting to free and liberate oneself. We also have Mars on that same day in an odd connection to Jupiter in Aquarius. So there's some adjustments that we have to make between the small details of Mars in Virgo and the big picture of Jupiter in Aquarius, because Aquarius is very future oriented, but Virgo is going to be more present moment and paying attention to the details of the here and now. So there needs to be some adjustments between, that big picture future oriented dream or vision along with where I'm at now and what needs to be done right now. And then the other biggest thing, I want to say next to the new moon in Virgo itself, that happens on that day, the 6th of September, is that the South Node is connecting to the eclipse point from this past summer. Do you remember when we had those eclipses? We had a full moon lunar eclipse, we had a new moon solar eclipse. Well, one of those eclipses happened at 5 degrees of Sagittarius. It was in Gemini season, right? When the sun was in Gemini, we had a full moon, which meant the moon was in Sagittarius. That full moon lunar eclipse happened at 5 degrees of Sagittarius. Now the South Node, which rules the past and past lives and karma and karmic energies, is going to come and hit 5 degrees of Sagittarius on the day of the new moon. So I think intuitively that there's something big happening here, that it's not just about the new beginnings of the new moon, but the South Node, which is about the past, hitting that full moon lunar eclipse point at 5 degrees Sagittarius, feel like might bring some endings as well. There's definitely a fated shift of energy here that's going on around that time. So it should be quite a powerful time period there in the first week of September. And then some of the other highlights for the month. On September 10th, we have Venus, that planet of love, relationships, harmony, balance, our values, personal resources, money, finances. She's moving out of her home sign of Libra and she's moving into Scorpio, the depths of Scorpio. And she will be there until October 7th, right before my birthday. And so Venus in Scorpio, she's much more deep, she's much more magnetic, she's much more powerful, she's empowered or wanting to take her power back in this sign. And again, whether this is empowering yourself with your personal resources, money, finances, or empowering yourself within relationships in some way, shape, or form, this is going to be the time period for that. And then on the 14th of September, Mars is switching signs. Mars is the warrior planet, the planet of energy, action, forward movement. And he's moving out of Virgo, which was, again, the small details, step by step. Mars wants to move and move fast because he's the warrior. Virgo, the earth sign, which is very cautious in nature, he probably wasn't too happy there while he was moving through that sign. Now he's going to move into Libra. Still not his best sign necessarily, but Mars is a fire planet. Libra is an air sign, so maybe a little bit more compatible here. Again, Libra is the sign of balance and harmony and equality and compromise and relationships and partnerships. And Mars is going to put his energy towards those areas of life. Mars will stay in Libra from the 14th of September until the 30th of October. So definitely over a month time there. And then on the 20th, we have a full moon at 28 degrees of Pisces. Okay, full moons are about completions, endings, healing, and Pisces is the last sign of the zodiac, which is also a sign of completion. So there's definitely some healing, completion energies going on for that full moon cycle. So we can kind of look at that as being the 20th of September, and then for 2 weeks thereafter is when the moon is waning, and we're doing kind of this releasing, letting go, and purging from our lives. On the 22nd, 2 days later, the sun is going to be moving into Libra at that time, which is about the time of year that the sun will move into Libra. So now we're in Libra season, highlighting again partnerships and relationships for the next month. And then on the 26th, Mercury goes retrograde, and Mercury is going retrograde in the sign of Libra. So now we start transforming, or transitioning is the better word, from the Virgo energies into the Libra energies, right? So on the 26th, Mercury, the planet of the mind, our thoughts, our ideas, our perceptions, and our communications, in the partnership relationship sign of Libra that wants equality and fairness and justice, going retrograde at 25 degrees of Libra, and will stay in Libra for its whole retrograde cycle. Now, it officially is retrograde from the 25th until the 18th of October, but it's shadow cycle, right? Because we have that shadow period before and after, according to the degree that Mercury went retrograde and then stopped and stationed before turning back to direct motion. The whole shadow period of this Mercury retrograde is actually from the 7th of September, right? And remember that that new moon that we talked about with all of those energies in the very beginning was on the 6th. So the shadow period of Mercury in Libra, the sign of relationships and partnerships, starts the day after that on the 7th of September and doesn't end until November 3rd. Okay, but again, officially, as far as just the retrograde motion, it's retrograde from the 26th of September through the 18th of October. So your typical, things apply of it's best to not start new things, or it's best to not make purchases, or you might want to watch your travel, or there might be miscommunication. All of those things happen when we have a Mercury retrograde. This one, though, is more focused on communications with other people, one-on-one communications. It could be with friends, coworkers, boss, romantics, others. It's just the one-on-one relationships that we're looking for, that idea of fairness and equality and the need to compromise and have equal give and take going on here. So this is a time, with Mercury retrograde in Libra, the sun going into Libra. Of course, Venus was in Libra the first few days until it went into Scorpio on the 10th. And of course, Mars goes into Libra as well on the 14th. So we've got a lot of energies surrounding relationship matters now and trying to work things out or figure things out in regards to those relationships. So that's the highlight astrologically. Let's go ahead and take a look at the messages from our angels and guides for the month. So I have to say that when I was meditating and asking for the message for the collective for September, cards were just flying out all over the place. I mentioned in another video, probably not too long ago, that oftentimes I let cards kind of fly out of the deck for the weekly and the monthly readings, if at all possible. I just let Spirit kind of dump those cards for me, which often does happen, but sometimes it takes a little longer than necessary. For this month of September, boom, boom, boom. They just were flying out of the deck. So we have 3 cards here, and the first card is the 4 of Orbs. This is like the 4 of Swords in the traditional tarot. And the 4 of Swords traditionally is about a need to kind of have some downtime, some rest time, to kind of let your mind, be at ease and relaxed and release kind of stress and anxiety. So you can see here in this image that there's the shadow of a person, and there is up here the sky, which swords is the suit of air, the sky, and deals again with our perceptions, our thoughts, our ideas, and communications. There is a little bit of a cloudy sky here. It's not totally cloudy though, so there is some light. There is light peeking through. There is clarity that can come through if you sit still in silence and you look for it. The other thing I found interesting about this Four of Orbs in this particular deck is that this person's sitting in the water, like in the ocean, right? And water is a symbol of the emotions. Now, although this isn't a card about emotions, because that would be the water suit, or the suit of cups, in this instance, I think that we are needing to kind of rest our emotional bodies as well as our mental bodies. Again, the Four of Swords or the Four of Orbs here talks about just feeling kind of overloaded mentally. We're feeling overwhelmed, overloaded, anxious, stressed. But this is also, to me, indicating that we are overloaded and stressed emotionally and not just mentally. It's not just our thoughts getting away from us. It's not just our belief systems that maybe are negative or less than positive, but it's our emotional state as well. Now, there's not big, huge waves. It's not a storm in the ocean here. But still, this to me is saying we want to calm our mind. We want to calm our heart, our emotions. And we want to sit still and rest. This really is a card that's saying that we've done, we've been going through so much. And whether this has been going through so much in the last week or the last month or this last year or 2 years, this is saying we're to a point that we need to rest. We need some downtime. We need some alone time, okay? And this particular card, too, has 3 orbs above the person, but there's 1 orb here in the back of the person. It's kind of on the ground or on the ocean ground, in the water, and behind the person. So, this could be about all these things that we're thinking about. Maybe there's choices to be made, but there might be a different choice. There might be a different option that we're not even thinking about because this orb is behind the person on the ground in the water. So you might think, again, what are my options? But what am I not seeing or what am I not thinking about that perhaps needs to be part of the equation? This also could be something emotionally based, right? To where if it's in the water that we have to consider what feels right to us, right? Maybe we're thinking about all these things logically, but what actually feels right to you? And this isn't a card about making decisions. It is a card just, though, to contemplate and rest and receive and rejuvenate yourself. But again, look for the clarity. There is some sort of clarity that can come in your time of silence and meditation. The second card, this is a Major Arcana, so this is a big deal. This is Major Arcana 20. In this deck, it's called Karma, and isn't that interesting? Because we talked about that south node connecting to the eclipse point at 5 degrees of Sagittarius on the day of the new moon, which was on the 6th of September. So, there is some sort of karmic shift that's happening. The Judgment card is what this is in the traditional tarot. Major Arcana 20 is the Judgment card. So, we're reflecting on, things of the past, and according to what we've done in the past, said in the past, how we've reacted in the past circumstances, past life, things that we've gone through, patterns that we've gone through in different areas of our life or within relationships. This is all about that kind of past kind of karmic energy that's at play. And this is kind of a rebalancing. It's almost like traditionally in the Judgment card, we have Archangel Gabriel blowing his trumpet. So this is like a call to action, like a call to awaken, a call to action, a call to pay attention to what's happened in the past and past lives, and let your soul be called to attention with that trumpet call in order to move forward on the next step of your journey. And isn't it interesting that this also to me looks like ocean water? We have ocean water here. And, if you look closely, this looks like a heart, right? be in your heart, this little kind of in the middle here. It's like, be in your heart, be in unconditional love, no matter what's happening, no matter what changes, redirections, how you might need to or feel that you need to free yourself. Stay in your heart. Everyone is going through something. Everyone is moving through their own soul journey. Everyone is dealing with their own karmic past or karmic issues, challenges, basically. So if we can stay in our hearts the best that we can as we move through this emotional time, that's going to be the best way, right? Is to not create any more karma. We might need to shift our direction or make a decision, move ourselves out of that karmic cycle, if you will, but we don't want to create any more waves emotionally within ourselves or with the people in our lives. Now, I always look at this in the background here, and I know it might be a stretch for some of you, but sometimes when I see this, I think of the phoenix. You know, it just looks like there's wings here or something. I think of karma, I think of transformation and transmutation. So I always look at that and I'm like, oh, is that like the phoenix rising? And the phoenix is rising from the emotional realm here and moving up to this beautiful lotus flower in the sky where we can kind of unfold and awaken those petals of who we really are, that unconditional love, that compassion, that forgiveness, which the lotus, right? Compassion, love, forgiveness, part of the alleviation of karma, right? The heart in the middle here. So this is definitely a powerful, powerful card that comes up here in the month of September. Let's see what that last card is. And the last card is the Eight of Chalices. This is the Eight of Cups, of course, the traditional tarot. Looks very similar to where a person is walking away from something. We have all 8 cups actually lined up here, but if you'll notice, there's lightness, getting a little darker, shaded, and then, very shaded on the end here. So this can be different aspects of our emotions. This could be that maybe we felt light, bright, and optimistic, and over time or over through circumstances or situations or within a relationship, maybe we got shaded. I'm going to just use that word. Maybe we got shaded and we're not feeling as light and optimistic. We're feeling a lack of joy or a lack of enthusiasm or a lack of happiness. And this can be, in any aspect of our lives, right? It can be relationships or in our job or career or in our living situation. Traditionally, when we see this card and with the person walking away, this means that we're looking for something better. We're looking for something better that will bring us more emotional fulfillment. We're ready to kind of walk away from the situation, whatever that situation is, because it's not fulfilling us anymore. The number 8 numerologically is a number of empowerment. Okay, in numerology, the number 8 does rule our career and it rules money, but it rules our sense of power and empowerment and our inner authority, our feeling of being in charge of ourselves, basically, or confident within ourselves. And so this person maybe has been feeling disempowered over time, and they're now to a point where they're ready to walk away. And again, it might be a situation or circumstance, but this might just be walking away from a repetitive subconscious pattern, walking away from some sort of karmic pattern, or walking away from a belief system, where we're looking for, again, a better way to think, feel, be, experience. And so they're walking here. Again, I don't know if this is the ocean. Could be the ocean. Feels like the ocean. Or it could be the blue sky. But again, I feel like they're walking towards the water here, because it is the 8 of Cups, and the cups is the suit of water. So the water indicates the emotional realm. So they're walking away from something that's now dissatisfying or not fulfilling them emotionally, and they're looking for something that is. That's what the 8 of Chalices says, is we're ready to leave something behind that is no longer supporting us emotionally, and we're looking for something that will support us emotionally, that will bring us back into that state of joy and happiness. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at your special message card, depending on your stone of choice. So that first stone of choice was the aragonite. Okay, so let's see what our angels and guides have to say. Special message for aragonite people. This one popped up when I opened my eyes. It was on the bottom, wasn't it? It says the enchanter, dream. And it says on the card, I wish upon a star and my dreams come true. Wow, that's nice. The enchanter, I wish upon a star and my dreams come true. That full moon in Pisces, Pisces can be about the dream, the vision. Pisces rules the spiritual realm where magic and miracles occur. So let's say the enchanter or the dreamer here, right? That as we get to or towards that full moon in Pisces, that maybe we can create the dream, we can create the new vision. Might not be, as the Eight of Cups there that we saw, it might not be what we thought it was or what we thought it was supposed to be, but we can create a new dream, we can create a new vision. Wish upon the star and make your dreams come true. So if you're, dreaming for a new place to live, a new job or career, a new way to make finances, a new business, a new relationship, a new sense of yourself, a new sense of confidence within yourself. Whatever that dream is, know that it can happen, okay? Know that it can happen because anything's possible. Dreams are possible, miracles are possible. Magic is real, right, as far as I'm concerned. So magic is possible. And this is saying that you can enchant it to happen. What does enchant mean? Enchant means to kind of like cast a spell, right? Enchant means to use your words, use your visualization capabilities, set your intentions, and enchant something into happening. So that's a great message for the aragonite people. Okay, for those of you that chose the smoky quartz. Smoky quartz, special message for smoky quartz. This one is, this one's calling my attention. It's the bottom one again. The temple. It says the temple and home. And it says, I no longer search outside of myself for home. I no longer search outside of myself for home. And that doesn't necessarily mean literally, right? I mean, it could. It could be that, your living situation is less than optimal. And I know a lot of us all around the planet, because of what's been happening the last couple of years, we're in certain situations, some of us, are wondering what's going to happen next because of the state of the economy and our ability to create finances, a lot of us, right? So know that home is not the dwelling that you're in. Home is within the heart, right? Wherever you lay your hat can be home, as long as you have love in your heart and as long as you're surrounded by people who love and support you. That is what matters. I no longer search outside of myself for home. This can also, again, mean I no longer search outside of myself for love. I find it within myself. I no longer search outside of myself for abundance because I am abundant. I no longer search outside of myself for magical things to happen because I can create the magic within myself and put that magic out to the universe and make things happen. So this is basically just saying don't look outside of yourself, and don't look outside of yourself for the answers that you seek, because the answers are in here. And I know that's sometimes difficult. It doesn't mean to not ask other people for advice or opinions or support or guidance, but know that your higher soul self resides in here. But you need to have that quiet time, that alone time, that downtime, and connect with your higher soul self. And with the state of everything that's been happening, and Virgo season sometimes has a little bit more, again, anxiety in the mind that we get kind of swept away with. Sometimes it's hard to listen to the heart, or hard to connect with our intuition, or difficult to stay fully connected to our higher spiritual selves. I no longer search outside of myself for home. Okay, your body is your temple. Your body is your home. And really, that's not even right? Your soul is your home. because the body is transitory. The body doesn't last forever, but your soul does. Your soul lasts forever. It's the magic and the love that's within your soul and within your heart, because within your heart is within your soul, right? So always know that you've got everything that you could ever dream of right here within you, okay? And then for those of you that chose the mahogany obsidian, special message from a mahogany obsidian. This one's calling my attention. This was not on the bottom. And this says, the Holy Child, Starseed. Ooh, I love that. It's almost like he's sitting on this crystal ball, and he's kind of funny looking. Not really. Cute, funny. Okay, the Holy Child, Starseed. I am a divine child of the universe. I am a divine child of the universe. So those of you that chose that mahogany obsidian, you have to remember, sort of like the last message a little bit, but you have to remember that your soul is infinite. Your soul is divine. And as it says here, you're a starseed, right? Your soul is just not a part of this earth plane. Your soul is much more than the human vessel that you reside in. You come from the stars, you come from other planetary systems, you come from parallel universes or realities. You know, look into this crystal ball and see what you see. You know, it might be a neat exercise if you have a crystal ball. Trying to think of what else. You could also use a bowl of water. It's called scrying, right? If you look into a crystal ball, you look into a bowl of water, and you just kind of allow yourself, you know, to see what you see in your clairvoyant third eye. You know, it's not about actually necessarily seeing something in that crystal ball or seeing something in that bowl of water. But for those of us that are clairvoyant, you know, able to use our imagination and see visions, and part of that is within dreams too. It's like, what do you see? You know, what do you see? And again, the universal messages are plentiful. And the fact that there's a child or a baby here, to me, signifies new beginnings. You know, there's something new that's beginning. And maybe you need to be like a child. Maybe you need to be innocent like the child or trusting like a child. Maybe you need to heal your inner child, right? Call in and heal your inner child. But know that, again, you're worthy and deserving of all that you could ever want, because you're a divine child of the universe. All right, everybody, I hope you enjoyed this monthly intuitive reading. Please make sure that you watch the weekly intuitive readings as well, because that will give you more details about the weekly astrological transits of significance, along with messages from your angels and guides, depending on your stone of choice for those as well. Thank you so much for your support. I finally got through the last few weeks and whatnot of commenting on your comments on my YouTube videos, so hopefully you got those messages from me. I really appreciate your support. Please subscribe to the channel. Please share the videos or messages with other people that you think might find them of interest. Thank you for all of your love, comments, support. Appreciate you all so much. And we are on this journey together. So sending you lots of love and light and many, many blessings.